Hello, Patreon. How are you all today? It's cold outside, well, something came up to make me want to do this one, so I'm going to sit here and have some coffee and do this one. I want you to imagine, and I'm going to tell you something here that I think is going to make some of your all's efforts easier. And you'll understand what efforts I'm talking about in a minute. And this mainly is for believers, and by that I mean believers in Jesus Christ. But if you're not, it's still for you. It's you should think about this. Okay, I want you to imagine that God Himself, built you the most beautiful temple you can imagine for you to live in, just for you to spend your entire time here on earth in. And for different people, it's going to be different things. I doubt that most of you here will think of some marble temple or Taj Mahal. I imagine for most of us, it's going to be probably the most beautiful. Well, for me, it's like it would be a cabin on a hill. Just imagine this: the most beautiful cabin you've ever seen, timber frame or log, whatever it is for you. And inside of it is everything that you could imagine. And inside of it, you can rest, you can relax, you're safe. And he says, this is just for you. Now, how would you treat that? How would you treat that temple that God gave you? And he says, you're to use this for my purpose. You're to enjoy it. This is for you, but you're to use this for my purpose. Well, how would you treat that? Would you trash it, or would you do everything you could to keep it in good shape? And of course, I think by now you know what I'm talking about. 1 Corinthians 6:19 tells us, "Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit?" And then the last line of that verse is, "You are not your own." Means that this body that I have is not mine. It is the temple that God gave me. It is the temple of the Holy Spirit that God allows me to use during this lifetime to interact with the world around us. Same as yours. How are you treating that temple? I tell you, for myself, I've treated it terribly most of my life. I trashed it. I mean, I smoked, I drank, I raised hell. I stayed out late. I did, pretty much all the bad things you can do, and I paid for it, in different ways. But the true sin of it was, and it is a sin. It's a sin when we don't keep our bodies up like we should. When we abuse them, whether that's by smoking, drinking, overeating, whatever it is. It's a sin because it detracts from God's ability to use us and this body that He gave us, this temple that He gave us, for His purposes. I think a lot of times, and we don't think about it that way, really. And when we're fighting against those things that maybe we shouldn't be doing, I smoked for 20 years. It was tough to give up, okay, boo-hoo, it was tough to do it. But I realized it was detracting from my ability to have a good life. And the reason that I stopped smoking was that my sister was going to have a baby. And I didn't want to be the stinky uncle that was hanging around or smoking. I thought it was important that for that baby that I stopped smoking. A lot of times we'll do things for other people that we won't do for ourselves. A little time back, I had a medical situation that was fairly serious. Everything's okay, but it brought my attention back to the fact when I realized that I wanted to do certain things to improve my health, right, my physical health. Not necessarily for myself, because I'm not afraid of dying. I know where I'm going. Most of you know where you're going. We're going. It's going to be better next. The next phase is going to be better than this one, right? But no, it was my children. I realized that I had a lot that they still rely on me. There's still a lot that I want to teach them. There's still a lot I want to do for them. There's more that I want to do to ensure that they're going to do well when I'm not here anymore. And that caused me to change my life. I'm sure many of you have had the same experience. But how about God? How about the one who we should love more than anyone else? And that's a tough concept for a lot of people to get through, to love God. I talked about this with the family here during a church not too long ago, and said, a lot of people don't think about loving God. A lot of people are afraid of God. A lot of people are worried about God, are worried of His judgment and all this, but we don't think about loving Him. We use the word a lot, but we don't think about loving Him. And I said, how could you not love someone who loved you so much that He gave His only Son, so that you would not perish, but have everlasting life? And when we see that kind of love, now we start to think, we love our parents because of the things they've done for us. We love our spouses, we love our kids and all that. But none of them did for us what God has done for us. He actually gave those others to us as the blessings that they are. So if we will change our lives for the love of others, in order to do better for them, how much more should we change our lives in order to be able to serve God better? Right? So I just wanted to say that word, and it pays off for you too. All of a sudden, you become a better tool, a better instrument that He can use for His purposes. So let's all think about doing a better job taking care of that beautiful temple God has given each of us. And when we see it that way, that we're doing it for Him and it's our responsibility, I think it makes it a lot easier to do it. All right? I hope that meant something to somebody out there. You all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.